Welcome or welcome back. So today we're going to be discussing whether or not my bedroom should be my new office. And we'll be playing Tiny Bunny while discussing it. Warning, this game contains offensive language and scenes of physical and psychological violence. Oh, bright screen. Well, it's definitely changed since I last played it. So, this is the color I'm kind of going for. I thought they said it would read the text. But yeah, kind of the color of like my cardigan, but darker. That's what I'd want for my bedroom. With like black and white accents. Or black and gold. Gold. I really thought they would read it aloud. No fair. But if I paint my room that color, this color, and move my office into there, I'd paint this room a plain white and just use it as a guest room. Like for my little sister and stuff. The art in this is fantastic.
Убери книгу немедленно. Сколько раз говорила, не читай за столом, вредно. Сидишь, сутулился весь.
Let's see. Olya had already finished her breakfast and was munching on some cookies. She was so enthusiastic, and she almost looked like your typical girl from commercials.
Пока не съешь, из-за стола не встанешь.
You're not going anywhere until you finish all of it. I, on the other hand, was still trying to drill a hole into the plate with my eyes, as if it would make the porridge disappear. Ad break in progress. Hazy anxiousness welled up inside, all because the previous sleepless night, the black forest around our house, and the gloomy wind. The longer I waited, the colder the lumpy white substance became. It looked like a jellyfish from the Cousteau Odyssey. I love that show. Oh, tell me I pronounced that right. I wonder how horrifying the bottom of the ocean is. Or how cold the Black Forest is at night. The spoon fell out of my hand. Mom showered me with a cold glare from her green eyes.
Что я говорила?
What did I just say?
Я достану.
I'll get it. I had 10 seconds to catch my breath before battling the nasty porridge once again. I felt around for the spoon. What is this? Carved on the other side of the table. Karina. That's my mom's name. I guess she carved it out with something pointy when she was little. She sure was a rascal, damaging the furniture like that. She would scold me for a week if I did something similar, though. Should I remind her about it? No, she's been in a bit of a bad mood lately. I imagine her being my age, sitting under this table. I wonder, was Mom afraid of the dark back then? Or the sounds coming from the attic? Or the thick forest? I imagined my grandma coming into my little mom's room, sitting at the edge of her bed where Olya sleeps nowadays, and saying this in her soft, smooth voice.
Тайга особое место, детка.
Taiga is a special place, little girl.
Она к тебе присматривается, принюхивается.
It's watching you closely, sniffing you out.
Словно хочет понять, что ты за зверь такой.
Trying to discern what kind of beast you are.
Понравишься, в беде не бросит.
If you're a good sort, it won't abandon you in times of trouble.
А будешь проказничать?
But if you're a bad apple, it'll grab you by the side and drag you under the ground.
Тут и дело с концом.
And that would be it. Grandma was caring. She never fought with anybody, never yelled, never swore. There were these times without the maddening screams until late at night, without smashed dishes and mutual accusations. Our parents used to love each other back then. I remember listening in on one of their conversations by chance. They were talking about Grandma getting prepared for her funeral. She had already bought a casket and called it her cute funeral box. I love this grandma. It waited for its time in the closet patiently. It was black, upholstered with meat-colored material on the inside. I saw it when my grandma was getting buried. The house had changed since the time she was alive. Only the photos were gone. Glass-covered pictures with gray faces of my ancestors. They all had a dead but watchful look in their eyes. I crawled out from under the table. Olya was done with her cookies and was looking at my share like a sly woodland creature. I turned my gaze towards the frosted window. There were a lot of dark pines outside, but they didn't grab my attention. The pattern of frost formed a picture on the glass.
Оля, гляди, лиса!
Olya, look, it's a fox.
Где?
Where? It looked almost like those optical illusion thingies they put on the back of students' notebooks. A mixture of lines at first glance, but if you blur your vision a little bit and look under a certain angle,
Да не на улице, на стекле.
not outside, on the window.
Смотри, вот нос, вот.
Look, here's the nose, and here's...
Ну-ка, доедай.
Hey, eat up.
Да, да, сейчас.
Yes, yes, just a moment.
Я ничего не вижу.
I don't see anything.
Живо. Совсем немного осталось.
Hurry up, there's not much left.
А, вот. Но все равно не похоже.
Ah, there it is, but it still doesn't look like one.
А я говорю, похоже.
And I'm telling you it does.
Не-а.
Nuh-uh.
Похоже.
It does.
Прекратите! Ну что за дети?
Oof, this poor mom sounds like she's at her wit's end. Now I couldn't see the fox either. What can I see? Almost like a face. Like the sunken in eyes right here. And a mouth. It disappeared. Went away. Only the frosty patterns similar to stretched out nettle leaves kept creeping up the class. My dad entered the kitchen with long measured steps. About time. I was starting to think they didn't have a dad. I wanted to have a beard like his when I grow up. Mom would always ask jokingly, "Come on, shave it off, it stings." This was so long ago. Nowadays, rumbling doors and witty comebacks were an everyday occurrence. Olya always covers her ears when she hears something like, "What's the point in all this?" through the walls. "It's all for your sake," Dad would reply, "for the sake of our family." I always caught every sound in fear of hearing the most dreaded, the deadliest word that started with the D. D-I-V-O. I don't even want to finish it. It was scary to imagine that me and my little sister could be torn apart and taken into two different families.
Да что твоя лиса? Вот у меня на окне сова.
Anyway, your fox is nothing. I have an owl on my window.
Опять ты со своей совой.
You and your owl talk again.
Так ты же вчера мне верил.
You said you believed me just yesterday.
Никто ключи от машины не видел?
Has anybody seen my car keys?
Вроде оставлял на подоконнике.
I remember leaving them on the windowsill.
Вроде.
Right.
Вроде оставлял, Вроде нет.
Maybe you did and maybe not. What's her problem?
Вроде взрослый мужчина, отец двоих детей, а вроде...
Перестань, пожалуйста, Карина.
Karina, please stop.
Дай мне спокойно собраться.
Just let me get ready in peace.
В корзине твои ключи, возле телефона.
Your keys are in the basket near the phone.
Огромное тебе человеческое спасибо.
Well, thank you very much.
Антон, ешь быстрее, а то как мученик сидишь.
Anton, stop making a martyr of yourself and finish eating already.
А сова?
But the owl.
Не было там никакой совы.
There was no owl.
Была!
But there was one.
Глазюки огромные! Во! И светятся!
It had giant glowing eyes. Olya sprung up from the chair and placed her hands on her little face, imitating a pair of eyes with her fingers, the size of an apple's each.
В прошлом году бабай в шкафу, сейчас сова?
Last year you had a babai in your closet and now this owl?
Но я же видела!
But I saw it. Olya shifted her gaze back and forth from Dad to Mom to me, but couldn't find any support.
А ты не думала подружиться с ней, нет?
Have you thought about befriending it?
Вымышленными мышами покормить, например?
You know, like feeding it with imaginary mice.
Не подначивай ребенка.
Don't bully our girl.
Просто мала еще, и спать одна боится.
She's just afraid to sleep alone because she's still little. How old is Olya? Olya pouted her lips in rebellion and rushed into the hallway. The staircase that led to the second floor creaked. Mom gave Dad a strict look. Oh, that look in her eyes. It's so uncomfortable to be pinned under it. Dad just snorted in reply and left, ringing with the keys he'd just found. A minute had passed and the theme song from The Little Mermaid echoed through the house. It was stored on an incredibly worn-out cassette tape, which Dad had already glued together once. It's so easy to fix objects by gluing them back together, for example. But how do you fix a relationship? Mom moved to the living room and I was left alone, anxiously stealing glances at the window. Olya had trouble sleeping ever since we moved to this house. She would toss and turn or curl up into a ball under her blanket. Sometimes she would jump up in the middle of the night and turn on the VCR. Cartoons helped to take her mind off all the troubles we had with the move and our parents. But then Olya said she saw that giant flying monster outside her window. She became obsessed with it. Our parents did everything in their power. They tried every little trick to get rid of those ridiculous fears. Olya refused to sleep alone and didn't believe that the owl was just one of her nightmares. After last night, I was unsure what to make of my sister's words, what to think of it myself. Can nightmares be infectious? Mass hysteria is a thing. That night, I couldn't get a wink of sleep and ended up thinking of what to expect from my new school. There were a couple of days left before the beginning of the new term. My imagination drew long twisting hallways that led to a classroom full of kids. but all the students behind their desks were simply dark figures cut out using a template. That's terrifying. Okay. Now I remember why I don't play this game. Circular holes gaped in the middle of their faces, and pairs of eyes blinked inside those holes. It was as if some completely different creatures were looking at me from behind the flat black silhouettes. Yeah, this is nightmare fuel. Their cruel glares, filled with icy sneers, made me shiver from head to toe. Will I survive here? Probably not. That damn school can burn for all I care. Sorry, I double-clicked. The kids are scaring me. I just wished for anything to happen to it. Doesn't really matter what. I didn't want to go there that badly. I didn't want to see people who are just itching to smack me on the head, trip me up, think of a new offensive name for me worse than the previous one. I feel like the glasses I wore made me an outsider of some sort of monster. Damn. I picked a bad day to wear glasses. I couldn't consider myself a great artist, but Oya begged me to hang them. Drawing was the only thing that made me happy as of late. The small circle of friends I had also enjoyed my paintings, and they promised to call me from time to time. Sometimes I imagine Mom picking up the phone and saying in a cold voice, "You've got the wrong number," or "Anton is not around." Anton is not around. I imagine my future classmates lying in their beds, just like me, listening to the howls of invisible werewolves outside their windows. Maybe my new classmates will like me after all. But who would ever like a boy with thick glasses? Wow, they're really going hard on the glasses, kid. I mean, my dad used to wear glasses when he was little, and now he's married to the most beautiful woman on the planet, my mom. The house creaked, pressed by the wind. The condo we used to live in, a 9-floor concrete building, buzzed with the neighbor's drill, mumbled with the TV set from behind the wall, cried like a baby from the big family next door. Our current house, I can't really call it new, was completely different. It was silent and easygoing during the day. Its shadows lay dormant in the corners, on the closet, cobwebs, and under the stairs. But they all woke up during the night. Something was watching me from every corner, almost as if the old photos of my deceased family with their ashen eyes were hanging on the walls in place of my drawings. The floor was squeaking. Rusty drains were moaning. The attic was occupied by noisy drafts. One could think the house was performing some sort of demonic melody. And then I realized I was in fact hearing music. It was already playing for a good while. Somewhere at the edge of my perception, I could hear a flute. It was mixed in with the sound of wind, of the creaking old house, and my thoughts too. I stood up and rushed to the window. I wanted to reassure myself that this music was nothing more than a production of my imagination. It's not like someone is playing it there amidst the cold, snowy night, right? Someone was dancing in the field. black silhouettes I could barely make out with the forest as their backdrop. They jumped around, basked in moonlight, bumped into piles of snow, rolled around, and crawled on all fours. Stories about wolves playing together under the moon came to mind, but these were clearly not wolves. They stood upright at times, circled around holding hands, and whipped up snow, disappearing into the shadows for a brief moment and then coming back. Something bizarre was going on. Suddenly, the music had stopped. The dancing shadows froze in place, and I could swear pierced me with their gaze. One of the silhouettes immediately parted from the bizarre shadow carnival and sprinted across the field with giant leaps. I don't like that. It glided on squeaky snow without leaving any prints until it was devoured by the pitch black snow of my house, which became even darker and thicker. My heart was jumping around like the bird inside a cage. I shut the curtains with a swift motion and stepped back towards the bed. Your bed can't save you. They saw me. A freezing torrent of fear washed over me. I stood in the middle of a perfectly dark room and listened to some unwanted guest movement and scraping around looking for an entrance. The sound moved to the right, then circled around the house. Now my guest should be at the front door. I jumped into the bed and covered myself with the blankets as if it could protect me. The shackles of fear locked my muscles. I remembered the funeral, my grandma lying there, hands crossed on her chest, her facial features sharp like that of a tin doll. Ants running up and down the legs of chairs that held my grandma's casket. Those are not ants on your grandmother. No. They didn't do this. Then her wrinkly eyeballs would once again move inside their sockets and she'd be able to see her grandchildren. They did not do this. I was chanting the spells she taught me throughout the whole procedure. And now, lying under the blanket and listening to squeaks and howls, I was repeating the same words. On the island of Buyan, underneath the blemished sun, in the sea of color blue, stands a cabin made of wood. There lay lard and ashen hair for the spawn from devil's lair, to feast and always leave alone, God's faithful servant named Anton. Evil leave this house must. Ashes to ashes, dust to dust. Bizarre sounds had disappeared. I cautiously peeked out from under my blanket and saw the curtains waving like a hanged man. Then the night doused me with a new portion of boiling terror. The sound scratched at my eardrums. In reality, something or someone was scratching at the front door, hurriedly clawing at wood, demanding to be let in. The door was shut. Dad had become very cautious recently, so he installed a sturdy lock. I remember him staring at the forest intently as if he was looking for someone. Ashes to ashes, dust to dust. I hugged my knees, placing my chin between them. and drilled the floor with my eyes. It was so flimsy and weak before the might of darkness. And then the doorknob twitched slightly. And then it turned halfway, once, twice, as if the person who tried to enter had no hands. The doorknob tilted once more and then started clicking violently. That's disturbing. My jaw cramped from fear. My wet fingers clutched the blanket. The door creaked and opened. The wind taunted me, moaning inside the tin drains. Now you'll see. The door was wide open. The darkness writhed inside the carnivorous mouth of the doorway. Tosha. It was as if the night itself was calling out to me, flapping its black wings and speaking with rusty hinges. I was trembling, ensnared by the web of darkness that hung in the corners of my room, waiting for the one who weaved it to come out of the gaping black hole. Yeah. My abdomen tightened and my chest rose up, ready to exhale a desperate scream. But before I was able to do anything, the darkness asked me,
Ты спишь, Тоша?
Tosha, you asleep? My sister's pale face protruded from the thick shadows. Come on, I clicked the thing. Do the clicky clicky. I almost screamed from relief.
Оля, я не сплю. Что случилось?
Olya, I'm not sleeping. Did something happen? Olya frowned and stuck out her lower lip, a clear sign she was about to cry.
Оно опять прилетело и пялится на меня.
It's there again, staring at me. Shoo her away, Tosha, please.
Прогони, пожалуйста. Я так боюсь.
I'm so scared. The fear that was tormenting me just a minute ago crawled away and hid somewhere in my stomach. I needed to calm Olya down.
Это был сон, глупая. Не пугайся. Сны не кусаются. Никто тебя не обидит.
It was just a dream, silly. Don't be scared. Dreams don't bite. No one's going to harm you. Olya sobbed. She was trying her best to believe me. But was I sure myself?
У меня есть идея.
I have an idea.
Пойдем к тебе в комнату, видик посмотрим. Спящую красавицу, например.
Let's go to your room and watch the video Sleeping Beauty, for example.
Тебе же нравится этот мультик?
You like that cartoon, don't you?
Почему у спящей красавицы принца у меня эта страшная птица?
Why does the Sleeping Beauty have a prince and I have this scary bird? That question took me by surprise.
Ладно, давай посмотрим Золушку.
Alright, let's watch Cinderella. My thoughts became tangled, fuzzy. What was that? What studied me with its eyes while dancing feverishly under the moon? The darkness was clinging to the window, and it couldn't be fooled by my grandma's old chants. It couldn't be satisfied with a feast of lard and long ashen hair.
Тоша, ты идешь?
Tosha, you coming?
Да, сейчас.
Yes, just a moment. I am not okay. Okay. That's why I didn't want to laugh at Olya and her owl in the morning. Who could be visiting us here in the middle of nowhere? We don't know anyone around here. So persistent. I felt extremely unsettled just from a silly thought that our morning guests could have come from the woods. I could barely hear voices coming from the front door. My mind was urging me to hide. In the closet, under the table, behind the curtains where Olya always hides.
Tosha, подойди-ка сюда.
Tosha, come here. I felt like kettlebells were tied to my feet, but still dragged them towards the hallway. A couple of policemen towered over me in the doorway. They smelled like frost and worry. My mom always winced and grumbled the moment she saw patrol cars, worse than bandits. At the moment, though, she looked somewhat confused.
Здравствуйте.
Hello? The senior officer, who wore a grim expression, nodded.
Тут мальчик вчера потерялся. Вовой зовут.
A boy had gone missing yesterday. His name's Vova.
Глянь, пожалуйста. Ты его не видел?
Look at this, please. Have you seen him? The policeman held out a photograph to me. There was a ginger boy around the age of elementary school, pictured with a cat. Well, he does have a cat, but I'm getting ahead of myself. Pictured with a wall carpet as the backdrop. He had a striped cat in his hands and wore a wide smile.
Нет.
No, I haven't.
Точно? Посмотри внимательнее.
Are you sure? Look closely.
Где мне его видеть? Я тут никого не знаю, да и из дома-то почти не выхожу.
Where would I see him? I don't know anyone around here. I barely leave the house.
А может, видел в окно?
Well, maybe you've seen him from the window.
Да, у тебя ведь окна на лес.
That's right, your windows look straight at the forest, don't they? The window.
Нет, не видел.
No, I haven't seen anything.
Ясно.
I see. He sounded tired, but his eyes... Right? The art in here is phenomenal. His stare, long and heavy, was full of suspicion. I squirmed unwittingly under the weight of guilt, which his giant shadow cast over me. The policeman finally tore his eyes from me and glanced over the hallway. The stairway and the cracks in the ceiling, which I hadn't noticed before for some reason.
Вы, кстати, как на новом месте?
How do
Попривыкли
you
уже?
like your new place, by the way? Getting used to it?
Понемногу, только вот дочка маленькая по городу скучает.
Bit by bit, it's just our little daughter misses the city a lot.
Скучает, значит. Из местных вас никто не беспокоит?
Misses the city, huh? Have the locals been treating you well?
Все хорошо, спасибо.
Yes, everything is all right, thank you. The policeman pierced through me with one more time. The policeman pierced through me one more time with his brown eyes. My head started spinning.
Может, вам помочь как-то?
Can I help you somehow? I asked in a shaky voice to look like a polite boy and to extend this unpleasant conversation and to end this unpleasant conversation sooner.
Я вот стою и думаю,
Now that I think about it,
Ты, малец, на племеша моего похож.
you look just like one of my nephews, little fella.
Шустрый парнишка твоих лет. С такими же окулярами. Все книжками зачитывался. Детективами.
He's a witty boy around your age. Wears the same type of goggles. Always engrossed in reading those mystery novels. Come on, I clicked.
Когда летом погостить приезжал, говорит, что в школу милиции мечтает поступить.
Told me he wants to enroll in police school when his family visited this summer.
Как я. Хотел людям помогать. Смекаешь?
There's the kicker. Wanted to help other people just like me, see? I felt uncomfortable, as if a distant relative and not a police officer stood before me.
Ох, ребятушки.
You know what?
Сидите-ка вы лучше дома. Не ввязывайтесь ни во что. Жизнь сейчас совсем другая пошла.
Little boys like you should stay at home, steer away from trouble. The times have changed so much. Mom interjected in a cold voice.
Мне ли не знать?
You don't say.
Ну да ладно.
Ah, well then.
Ты, Антон, в каком классе учишься?
What grade are you in, Anton?
В 6-м.
6.
Друзей-то на новом месте еще не завел?
Have you made any friends here so far?
Пока нет. Я только после каникул в школу пойду.
Not yet. I'll be going to school for the first time after the break.
Тогда вот вам на всякий случай мой номер. Звоните, если узнаете что.
Then I'll leave you my number just in case. Call me if you have any new info. Is that in my inventory? Do I have an inventory? The policemen were gone along with their shadows, the smell of cheap cologne and the photo of a smiling boy. Hey! Hashira Elements. Fire's good, the sun's good, the doggo's good, life's good. The game's about missing kids. It's, I think Russian. It's really dark. Thank you for the muse. And the views. Hey, I have something to tell you that you're not gonna like. Amen to that. Glad everyone is healthy and strong. Good to hear it. You are the Horror Queen fam. Thank you. I am. Not to toot my own horn or anything, but you can have fire. Here, I bequeath you fire. His face still stood before my eyes. I wonder what it was like for him being all alone there. For some reason, I thought of the forest swaying in the wind. What did his poor parents feel? And what would my parents do if I'd gone missing? Would they cry and thrash around hysterically? Or would they accuse each other like they always do and forget about me eventually?
Мам, а Вова этот в нашем лесу заблудился?
Mom, this Vova, did he go missing in our forest?
Выходит, что так.
Seems
Бедный
like it.
ребенок.
Poor child. I looked out the window at the road. Police UAS drove off towards the village. We're going to glossary that. A Soviet and Russian off-road freight passenger car brand which was produced on the... Nope, not going to try and pronounce that. Car factory. Okay. So the police car drove off towards the village. The officer's nephew came to mind when I was splitting off old paint from the windowsill. I remembered the teenage mystery novels from the Black Kitty series I've read this summer. Your average boys and girls investigated all sorts of mysteries there. They looked for clues, spied on suspicious people. Yes, love. How are you? Son, it's snowing right now. I got my driveway plowed the other day, and I need it plowed again today. But I love Vermont. It's wonderful here. The chickens hate it. But Tobias loves it. And Michael likes it. We're not together anymore, but he's still nearby. "14 years is just a long time. A lot can happen in 14 years. Yeah, forever and ever. But it's okay. Yeah. I'll always miss what we had, but I'm happy with myself and my son. And I got back into streaming. I got back into a lot of things. You guys know I didn't drive before. I've been driving. My new dog is a service dog. So her actual job is to help me through life. Then you good. You'll always bounce back no matter what. But what happened, if you don't mind me asking? If you want to talk about it, okay. Okay, driving car, yo, amazing service dogs are amazing. Love the layout on your stream. Thank you. I worked very hard on it. We had just gotten to a breaking point where we couldn't live with each other anymore. I don't know, it's hard to explain. There was a lot of resentment between both of us. And it wasn't healthy for the love that we had for each other. So, we had split up before this year, but January 1st, he officially moved out. And I've been reclaiming the house. Yeah, toxic arguments are no joke. And clashing too much is a lot. Especially for so long. But I've been reclaiming the house, and as you can see from the title of my stream, possibly putting my desk in my room. Way more space for me. Exactly. I'm getting the downstairs done. I'm getting the upstairs done. I'm getting a lot of things done. For me and my son. But thank you for being supportive. I really appreciate it. Aw, you're sweet. Cheers. All right, back to the show. And thank you so much. Anyone who hasn't checked him out, go follow him immediately right now. I don't know what you're doing with your life. I always will, you know, I'm always here for you. We started this Twitch journey roughly around the same time. Glad you're back into the... You've always been a gamer. Yeah. Man, I missed it. And after an amazing set of adventures, bam, solved any complicated case. They became local celebrities and must have made their parents very proud. I noticed a trail of policemen's footprints that led into the forest. I would follow that. And then it clicked in my head. Why don't I start an investigation of my own? Yep, that's what gets you in trouble. Maybe I'll find that lost boy. And I'll get a reward. Olya will be so happy. You're delusional. He's in his Delulu era. And not only Olya, Mom and Dad too. Maybe they'll even forget about their quarrels for a while. Maybe I'll even save us from the D word. It's not dick, it's divorce. Oh shit. What games you been playing besides All hail Poseidon. I've been playing, just chatting, the Mortuary Assistant and Phasmophobia and Tiny Bunny now. But I really want to paint my room color to this deep purple. What do you think? For like an office room. Are you going to see Mortuary Assistant? Yeah, like my sweater. Are you going to see Mortuary Assistant when it comes out in theaters on February 13th? Like, tomorrow? I can't wait. Whenever you want to play Phasmo, I have it. And yes, horror is life. How about you? I'm trying to find a sitter. I'm praying his dad will take him. If not, I can always go while he's at school to a matinee. I fantasized about buying Olya a Tamagotchi and getting a cassette player and a bunch of tapes for myself. And a whole box of Kinder Surprise. When was the last time our parents bought us any toys? Last autumn, I think. My dad had lost his job at the time, and that's annoying. And there's that annoying song about it. Wait, there's an annoying song about it? No way. Accountant? I gotta Spotify that. Dude, I'm usually on in the mornings playing Phasmo. I had little to no idea what the accountant's job like. They count money, I think. Neighbors used to envy us. But nowadays, mom and dad barely had enough money to afford sweets, and dad would always divide a single chocolate bar between me and Olya. Sometimes I gave her my share too. No matter how much I wanted to eat sweets, she was still just a pipsqueak. I couldn't wait to go out looking for clues.
Пойду погуляю.
Oh god. He scared me. Okay, enough of Poseidon. Thank you, Hashira Elements. All is a pleasure. And yes, horror is life. I am going to see it as soon as possible. I'm going outside.
Ага, сейчас.
Yeah, right.
Чтобы потом милиционеры с твоей фотографией по домам ходили.
You want the police to go around with your photograph next?
Лес вон какой густой.
The forest is so thick.
А если
What
мальчика
if the
звери
boy
дикие
got
утащили? Или
snatched
того
up by
хуже?
wild animals or something even worse? Even worse echoed through the hallway.
Да я рядом буду. В лес не пойду.
I won't go far. I'll stay away from the forest.
Что я тебе сказала? Мне дважды повторять.
That didn't help Susie Salmon. Did you hear what I said, or should I repeat myself?
Лучше портфель собери или соли поиграй.
Better go pack your school bag or play with Olya. The sound of splashing water came from the kitchen. I meant that the argument was over and Mom had the last word. What's the eye? What the fuck? This cross has seen so many people come and go in this house. To front yard?
Антон!
Whoops. Anton.
Сейчас ремня получишь.
I guess not. Dark, stuffy closet. Mom says it smells like mice, but how would she know their smell? Mouse piss. She hates when I stick my nose in there. She's afraid I'll cut myself on the freshly sharpened axe. And Olya can't even be lured close to it. She thinks Babai is living in there. I tried to help her fight her fears once. I opened the door and turned on a dim lamp, so she would see there was nothing but cobwebs, Dad's tools, and scratched walls. She still didn't believe me. And I liked to hide in the closet and listen to Olya count outside. 1, 2, 3, better hide from me. And then drag her feet on the creaking floorboards, hoping that she wouldn't need to look for me in the cramped monster den. To the kitchen, I guess. I guess we're lying to Mom. It was difficult to lie to Mom, but there was no other way for me to run away from home.
Мам, там что-то с телевизором случилось.
Mom, there's something wrong with the TV.
Картинка какая-то тусклая и экран весь в полосах.
The picture is dim and there are stripes all over the screen. Mom's face became visibly distorted.
Без ножа меня режешь. Дострелялся в уток своих.
Ah, you're killing me. So you have had enough of shooting those stupid ducks now?
Говорила же, посадите мне кинескоп своей приставкой.
Told you the kinescope will go dim because of your console? I don't know if I'm saying any of this right.
Где мы теперь мастера найдем в дыре этой, а?
Where will we find a TV technician in this hole, huh? That Mom could do with some meditation.
Может быть, просто настройки сбились?
Maybe it's just the settings.
Сходи, посмотри, пожалуйста.
Please, go see for yourself.
Нормально же работал с утра.
Strange, it worked fine this morning.
Из-за снегопада, наверное, неполадки.
Maybe the snowfall caused it. Mom rubbed her hands clean on her apron and went to Olya's room. I opened up the front gate and went into the field. Carefully so Mom couldn't see me from the window. When I crossed half the distance towards the forest, the snow piles became high as my knees. I remembered my nightly fears. I saw those silhouettes around here. They were jumping around holding hands. That hypnotizing music started playing in my head all on its own. In the light of day, those distant figures felt like a simple dream. The sun turned my nightmares to ash, but afterwards, ad break. The sun turned my nightmares to ash, but the aftertaste was still there. Distant ringing in my ears, distorted shadows crawling on the snow alongside me, and a barely audible whisper in my head, blurring and almost kind. Everything was silent. So silent, I felt like the world was totally empty. No ground, no sky, no parents, no Olya. The time reached its limit, a one-way trip that ended at the forest's tiny, piney stockade. Sometimes silence was much scarier than any scream. Our parents would scream at each other while arguing, and both me and Olya turned to stone, listening to them. But then always came the ringing silence. Our apartment became numb a couple days before we departed. It was hard to remember the last time Mom and Dad joked around, laughing, or spent time together. Almost like all of it was in a previous life. When they kissed with Olya present, she always frowned and snorted in a funny way. But one day it all changed. And something scary filled the remaining void. It was as if a fire broke out and our parents were hurriedly packing our belongings, trying to save themselves and us. From who, though? From the people with dead cold eyes who sometimes visited us in our previous home? The eyes that only saw balls of worms on the black ground and everything? And somewhere far away, a siren was going off, trying to warn us of the coming menace. I shuddered, chasing away my delusions and looking around. There were only me, this white field, and the wind that was whipping up icy dust and belts of powdered snow. I squinted from the sun and turned my eyes to the sunless forest. It looked especially dark in contrast with the blinding whiteness. Knobby tree roots slithered under the snow like fat snakes. Rotten leaves and carnivorous needles froze into the ice. Dry, prickly branches intertwined, bringing up uncomfortable thoughts about fences. Were they protecting the forest? Or were they keeping something from breaking out? Some object was hanging from one of the pointy branches. I tried to get closer during drowning in the snow, and when I almost got to the edge of the forest, I saw a knitted mitten. It looked like a wounded bird among the hungering semi-dark. Let's see how much they changed. Should I take it to the police? Take the mitten. Their senior officer looked gloomy, but he still reminded me of Captain Casanova from my favorite TV show called The Streets of Broken Lights. He was also always anxious, with the tired look in his eyes, but still brave and strong. Will this mitten help them find the lost boy? Vova. I heard a distant shout. Looked like it came from the river. As if the trees were calling out to someone. Vova resounded closer to me. Someone was hiding. Vova. I knew someone was looking for the lost boy, but still. Something was unsettling about that figure. Its stillness, how it was bent unnaturally towards the ground. Its blackness. Okay. There's no one there, just branches and roots. It's all just my imagination. A nearby bird flapped its wings loudly. A shadow split from the tree and disappeared from my sight. I looked away for just a moment, but when I turned my gaze back to the same place, it was gone. So it was my imagination after all. Silence reigned for a painfully long time. My muscles were tightly sprung. My heart was beating somewhere in my throat. Any noise, any little movement, any small whisper from the thicket, and I'd sprint. But nothing of the sort happened. I looked at the mitten once more. Take. I decided to take the lonely mitten from the branch. Vova. A shout rumbled across the field and dissolved into the distance. No echo, no hope for a reply. I stepped toward the bristly trees and tried to claim my find. It didn't budge. I pulled harder, the branch cracked and the mitten tore off, landing in my hand with a squishy sound. All too heavy, wet. I squeezed it without thinking and something dark spilled from it, forming a tiny string between the mitten and the snow. Steam rose from the snow pile. I froze in place, studying my palms in disgust. Red. The sound of cracking branches invaded the silence. I didn't have to think twice before running away. Someone was chasing me from the darkness, breaking pine branches, closing the distance with giant leaps. Snow was slowing me down. Crazy thoughts flew through my mind. I'll get caught. They'll get me. I'll get dragged into the thicket. I'll be gone. Forever. But there was one more voice. Probably one of reason. It gave me strength. Spurred me on. You can do it. Don't stop. I heard an animal roar behind me. It was so loud my ears went numb. It felt like the sound had come from a pack of hungry beasts rather than a single one. Their nostrils sucked in freezing air. They sensed my fear. Two giant wings flapped above my head. An enormous shadow flew over the clearing. A hoot, a wheeze. The roars were coming from all directions now. From the dried up raspberry bush, from twisted pines, from under the windfall. Hurry, run, don't look back. It felt like I was inside a nightmare. The snowy clearing became vicious like quicksand. I was stuck in place. I pulled my leg from the mushy trap just to be caught in a new one, even deeper than before. I continued to drown, sinking deeper and deeper with every desperate push. Was snow ever this sticky? I screamed in horror after realizing this wasn't snow. Someone or something in the snow pile was clutching my pants. I gathered all my strength and rushed forward. The pressure on my leg was gone. My boots slipped out of the hole and my soles were on a hard surface again. I reached a clear path with one jump and from there ran to my house. Its gloomy facade didn't look threatening now. That house was my line of defense from the shadows that flapped their wings and the creatures that were hidden under the snow. I tripped over the doorstep and smashed into the door. In all my hurry, I still managed to notice the claw marks, as if a dog were striking the wood with its paws, demanding to be let in so it could escape the cold. I hadn't noticed these marks when I was leaving. The heart beating in my ears was much louder than my surroundings. I couldn't hear whether someone was following me or not. What if they were already in our front yard and my mom had locked the door? Drowning in fear, I pulled on the doorknob and it obediently gave way. I rolled into the hallway and shut the door behind me. Porch planks creaked as my pursuers ascended the stairs. My fingers slipped off the lock and I couldn't click it into place. I gritted my teeth and pulled hard on the iron knob, whipping it between the boards. I stared blankly at the door. Someone was standing on the other side of the pitiful, flimsy barrier that was probably less useful than blankets. Wheezing breath reached into the house and crashed at me in waves. It smelled of pine and sweat. Mom peeked out of the kitchen and chastised me with the same frigid voice she always used when talking to Dad.
Что конкретно тебе не ясно в просьбе не хлопай дверьми?
What exactly don't you understand when I told you never to slam the door?
Я случайно.
I didn't mean to. I snuck a glance at the door. The smell was gone. The breath was too. If there was someone in there in the first place, of course. Here, mere 5 meters away from them, my fear was slowly weakening, melting like snow in spring, and with it, the last bit of strength I had left my body too. My legs gave way. I propped myself against the wall so I wouldn't fall over. My mom's expression had changed immediately. The cold mask of strictness and detachment was gone. Mom looked the same as before all those quarrels. She finally saw my condition, my wet pants plastered with snow.
Ты где был? Я тебе что говорила, а? Чтобы ты дома сидел.
Where have you been? What did I tell you, huh? I told you to stay home.
Я и для тебя пустое место.
Am I nothing to you too? I got afraid she would cry. I reached out to her like when I was very little and wanted to cuddle me. But Mom regained her composure fast and put on her usual face. Her eyes shined like steel. Her voice rang out.
У отца сигареты пропали.
Your dad can't find his cigarettes.
Признавайся, ты их стащил? Курить бегаешь?
Be honest. Did you snatch them? Were you smoking in secret?
Там за мной кто-то гнался. Я думал, меня...
There was someone chasing me. I thought... I stuttered as soon as I started explaining myself. Tears welled up in my eyes. Mom leaned towards me and sniffed my clothes like a beast searching for the smell of tobacco. Then she squinted her eyes in suspicion and looked in the front yard. Her expression changed in an instant and she covered her mouth with her hand.
Гляди, вон же они. Прямо у забора.
Look over there at the fence. My heart started thumping as if I became prey once again, and my pursuers were following me into the field. I could swear that I've heard something scratching at the door just like in my nightmare. Mom beckoned me with her finger, and I gathered all my remaining bravery to look into the kitchen window, facing my fear. I could barely discern some hairy silhouettes swimming in snow through the icy patterns on the glass. Dogs. Just a small pack of strays with no name and no owner, barely reminding me of the hungry monsters that live on the edge of the forest.
Божечки, ты их испугался? Да они сами тебя перепугаются, Антон.
Oh boy, were you scared of them? I think they'd rather be scared of you, Anton.
Они гнались за мной.
They were
Словно за
chasing me
зайцем.
like a bunny.
А вдруг они бешеные?
And what if they were rabid? The smile slowly disappeared from Mom's face. Now she looked at the dogs as if it was her first time seeing them.
Что если они нападут на Олю?
What if they attack Olya?
Мам,
Mom?
Вот бы твой отец их всех перестрелял.
Whoa, not gonna say that.
мама, они живые.
А что? Ты уж определись, они тебе друзья или враги? Не маленький ведь уже.
Mom sighed in annoyance. I felt so bitter that I bit my lower lip and fixed my gaze on the cobweb-ridden corner just to keep myself from crying. Well, some detective I am. In reality, I wasn't risking my life among monsters, but rather my pants among a pack of stupid strays. And what for? What use do I have for this? Mitten. Of course. A darkened, sticky mitten that belonged to the lost boy made a squishy sound in my hand. Seems like I was clutching it this whole time. That's my trump card as a detective. I hurried to present this clue to my mom.
Мам, смотри, это Вовина варежка.
Mom, look, this is Vova's mitten.
Ну того, про которого утром милиция спрашивала.
The boy the police were asking about this morning.
Она вся в крови, на дереве висела. Вон там, могу показать.
It's drenched in blood. I found it hanging on a tree. I can show you where.
Давай в милицию скорее позвоним, как нас участковый просил.
Let's call the police right away like the officer had told us to.
Мам, гляди!
Mom, look.
Фу!
A shadow of doubt slowly crept onto Mom's contorted face, as if she was trying to remember something distant, like someone tries to remember their dream, but the images slip away.
А ну-ка прекрати сейчас же.
Stop at this moment.
Оля тебя услышит, с ума сойдет.
Olia will go insane if she hears you.
Она и так не спит, на все подряд жалуется.
She already has trouble sleeping and whines all the time.
Еще и ты со своими шуточками.
And you joke around like this? At that moment, I realized the mitten was actually wet from snow. There was no blood whatsoever. I wanted to sink through the floor from embarrassment.
Иди сюда, паникер.
Come here, my boy, who cried wolf.
Да не стой столбом. Вот, таблетку на. Быстро пей.
Oh, don't just stand there. Come take your pills. A golden-colored pill, reminiscent of a dead wasp, fell into my palm.
Я уже пил сегодня, за завтраком.
I already took one during breakfast.
Попререкайся мне еще.
Don't talk over me.
Сказала дома сидеть, нет же.
I told you to stay home and you...
Был бы отец, выпорол.
Dad would have given you a good whipping for that.
Сейчас же выпей, а то ночью не уснешь.
Come on,
Тебе ведь в
take
школу
it, or
завтра.
you won't be able to sleep tonight and you have school tomorrow. So I had to swallow the bitter medication, drinking it down similarly with awful water that gave off a taste of chlorine. Maybe it wasn't Vova's mitten. Maybe it wasn't a mitten at all. Just like the forest monsters. And Olia's owl. Am I going mad? What was happening to me? Either the pill had an immediate effect or my overexerted brain didn't let me fear anything anymore. Serenity washed over me, bringing yawning indifference along with it.
Антон, выпил? Можешь, если захочешь.
Anton, you done? See? You can do it when you try.
Раздевайся. Уснул, что ли?
Take off your coat. Are you asleep?
Нет, мам, просто задумался.
No, Mom. I was just thinking.
Интересно, о чем же?
About what, I wonder?
Так, глупости всякие.
It's just something silly. Mom scrutinized me with suspicious eyes, as if she wasn't sure she was looking at her own son and not some doppelganger that came from the forest.
Точно все нормально?
Is everything alright?
У тебя такое лицо было, когда милиционер про окно спросил.
You had the same exact expression when the policeman asked you about the window.
Все нормально, мам.
I'm alright, Mom. She heaved a deep sigh.
Хорошо.
Fine. It seemed like the house had changed. The sofa's fabric had become discolored. Fingerprints appeared on the bathroom tiles. Even the saliva in my mouth had a different taste. A melody from Aladdin could be heard from the upper floor. Olia was done rewatching her favorite Little Mermaid episodes and switched to her other tapes. I slowly changed into my home clothes, stopped before the sink, and studied my reflection in the mirror, like I was trying to solve one of those spot the difference puzzles. Then I went upstairs. Jafar and Iago's voices died down. I walked past Olya's bedroom and slipped into my own. One of the drawers was empty. I hid the mitten in there. This simple action drained the last bit of strength from me. I sat on the bed, and only then I noticed there was someone behind the curtains. My tired hand dropped to the sheets. Whether it was due to medication I took or the stress I underwent, the room began to contort, as if the wind was blowing the walls out like pairs of sails. The corners of the room bent and undulated. The only stable thing in the whole room was the figure between the windowsill and the curtains. A flimsy piece of cloth was stuck to my hidden visitor. It reminded me of burial sheets.
Оля,
Olya? Who else would be standing there? I stood up and licked my dried lips.
Оля, очень смешно.
Yeah, Olya, it's so funny. The silhouette was unmoving. It was enveloped softly by the curtains, as if there was a thick layer of darkness there, not a human being. I reached towards the curtains. Ba-dum, beat my heart, controlled by medication. The winds sang in the field with a chorus of voices. For a second, I wanted to return to the bed, just lie down and watch the person behind the curtain, knowing full well they were looking back at me. They're looking without blinking, waiting for me to fall asleep. Plastic rings rustled against the holder when I pulled open the curtains.
Попался!
Gotcha!
Да я сразу понял, что это ты.
I knew it was you from the beginning. A blinding bright halo lit up above Olya's head with the setting sun as the background. My sister was shining. When she was just a baby, Dad always used to say she was shining with happiness. I always retorted, but Dad, she's not some flashlight. But I brought her to the window one day and sunlight poured on her smiling face. I felt like I was holding a light, woven child.
А я все видела.
I saw everything.
Да ну,
Oh, really?
Что ты спрятал?
What did you hide? She was just like my mom when she was little. Before she put on her sad mask of tiredness and switched to her commanding tone of voice.
ничего, просто...
It's nothing, just... Olya ran up to the table, her eyes round, and asked,
Ты что-то украл
You
и
stole
теперь
something and
прячешь?
hid it there?
Ты вор?
Are you a thief?
Что? Глупая.
What? Don't be stupid.
Ничего я не
I
крал.
didn't steal anything. A clear image came to mind. The mitten hanging from the tree branch. What if I did steal it after all? From the forest? From the tilted figure standing behind the black trees? Olya could be selfish and stubborn when she wanted.
Покажи тогда.
Then show me.
Поклянись, что никому не скажешь. Тогда покажу.
Swear that you won't tell anyone, then I'll show you. Olya wore a plotting smile.
Клянусь маминым сердцем.
I swear on Mom's heart. An oath she heard in one of the movies about the pioneers we've watched.
Не говори так.
Don't say things like that. Olya nodded and made a gesture with her hand, locking her mouth with an imaginary key. She was filled with curiosity that was splashing in her giant eyes. I opened the drawer and Olya leaned in, holding her breath. It looked like there was not just a simple mitten, but some sort of exotic critter.
Это чья-то варежка?
Is this someone's mitten? She said that as if she couldn't understand what she saw.
Один мальчик потерял. И сам потерялся.
A certain boy lost it and got lost himself.
Теперь понимаешь, как опасно гулять в лесу, особенно детям?
Now do you understand how dangerous it is for kids to wander into the forest, right? Wow, that was a tongue twister.
Ему, наверное, там очень холодно.
He must be really cold out there.
Его найдут?
Will they find him?
Обязательно.
They will.
Участковый по домам ходит, всем фотографию его показывает.
The police are going house to house showing his photo to everybody. Olya traversed the room with care and pressed her tiny palms against the window.
А почему он по домам ходит, а не по лесу?
And why are they going to the houses and not the forest?
Боится?
Are they scared? The question caught me off guard.
Милиционеры ничего не боятся. И лес они прочесали.
They've already scouted the forest. Yeah, right, flashed in my clouded mind. Did they really check every nook and cranny where darkness, cold, and whispers of icy branches dwell? If that's the case, how did they miss the mitten? Or did it appear later, for me? I changed the topic, as if trying to get Olya as far away as possible from the forest thicket.
Кучу всякого, как в поле чудес.
A lot of stuff like in Wheel of Fortune. I double clicked. Sounds cool, right? Olya wasn't listening to me. She was piercing the forest with incredibly adult eyes uncharacteristic for her. Olya's not even listening.
Сова его утащила?
What if the owl got him?
Ерунда.
Nonsense.
Не может сова поднять человека.
An owl won't be able to lift a human.
Но вот что...
But you know what? I was picking my words with the utmost care. I forced them out of my overexerted brain.
Ты в лес не суйся. Мне кажется, он какой-то...
Stay away from the forest. I think it's...
Как бы сказать...
How
Проклятый,
should
что
I
ли?
put it? It's cursed or something?
Как в сказке?
Just like in a fairy tale?
Нет, скорее, как на той страшной кассете, что родители прячут.
No, more like in that spooky tape our parents hide from us. Olya shivered and stole a glance at the window.
Я видела, как ты убегал.
I saw you running away.
За тобой кто-то гнался?
Someone was chasing you.
Нет, просто, чтобы мама не волновалась, спешил домой.
No, it's just I was hurrying back home so Mom wouldn't be worried. As I looked at my sister, my heart was tearing apart. She was so fragile. It was so easy to stifle her light. A gust of wind, and her small fire would be gone.
Хорошо тебе.
You're lucky.
Меня вот мама не пускает даже на крыльцо.
Mom won't even let me go outside.
Как принцесса в башне сижу. Никуда
I'm
не
like
могу
a
выйти.
princess in the tower, can't go anywhere.
Так и умру тут от скуки.
I'll die from boredom here.
Не придумывай.
You're wrong.
От скуки еще никто не умирал.
No one has ever died from boredom.
У тебя же есть я и мультики, а мама с папой скоро помирятся.
You have me and your cartoons, and Mom and Dad will be good to each other soon.
Знаешь, что бы я загадала на следующий день рождения?
You know what I would wish for on my next birthday?
Чтобы родители тоже в детей превратились. И мы бы все вместе играли, как раньше.
I'd wish for Mom and Dad to turn into children so we could go and play together like we used to.
Ага, а если бы они стали размером с жука, то мы бы их в спичечный коробок посадили.
Yeah, and if you'd make them small as bugs, we could place them into a little box. Olya giggled and tugged at my sleeve.
Тоша, пойдем Аладдина смотреть.
Tosha, let's go watch Aladdin. Fatigue went over my desire to be with my little sister. I was washed over by some sort of heinous apathy.
Вымотался я. Что-то не хочется.
I'm too tired. I don't want to.
Ну пойдем.
Come on.
Мне скучно одной, а мама занята все время.
It's so boring alone, and Mom is always so busy.
Можно выбрать другой мультик, который ты еще не видел.
We can pick a cartoon you haven't seen before.
Да я все наши кассеты наизусть знаю.
I know all of our tapes by heart at this point.
А вот и не все. Ты Питера Пэна не видел.
Not all of them. You haven't watched Peter Pan.
Помнишь, ты уснул на середине?
Remember how you fell asleep in the middle of it?
А там потом такое.
And
Ну,
so much happens
пойдем,
after that. Let's
пойдем.
go. Let's go.
Давай попозже.
Maybe a bit later.
Рассказать тебе, чем все закончилось?
Should I tell you how it ends?
Утром расскажешь.
Let's leave that for tomorrow.
Утром не захочу.
I won't tell you tomorrow.
Придумала. А давай в прятки.
I know. Let's play hide and seek.
Нет, Оль.
Girl, you're gonna be hiding for a while. No, Olya.
Тогда нарисуй мне динозавра.
Then draw me a dinosaur.
Оля, блин.
Olya, please.
Нарисуй, нарисуй.
Draw it, draw it.
Да оставь ты меня в покое!
Leave me alone already. I blurted it out without thinking, and then I was immediately taken aback. I never screamed at my little sister like that. Olya stared at me in shock. Her lips started trembling, a precursor to tears. My chest was seething with disgust and embarrassment. What's happening to me? I hurried to prevent Olya from crying.
Ладно, уболтала. Давай смотреть мультики. Только недолго.
Alright, you win. Let's go watch cartoons for a bit.
Уже не хочу.
I don't wanna. I came up to her, put my hand on her soft head.
Пойдем.
Let's go.
Питера Пэна посмотрим.
Let's go watch Peter Pan.
Ага, ты опять уснешь.
Boo, you'll fall asleep again. I smiled and lifted her chin. Her eyes were wet and felt bottomless.
Не усну, обещаю.
I promise I won't.
А потом я тебе целого трицератопса нарисую.
And I'll draw you a full triceratops later.
Ура!
Self-explanatory.
Крипи! Сыри! Попса!
Ну, почти.
Close enough. Olya rubbed her eyes with the sleeve of her pajamas, and a shining smile returned to her face.
Давай ты пока кассету перемотаешь, а я у мамы попрошу сгущенки с хлебом.
I'll go ask Mom for condensed milk and bread, and you rewind the tape.
Только утром свежий привезли, как ты любишь.
The bread is fresh, just how you like it.
Неси, только аккуратнее, а то разольешь.
Alright, just be careful not to spill the milk,
Опять ругаться будут.
or you'll be yelled at again. Who cries over spilled milk?
Спорим, не разолью.
Wanna bet I won't spill it?
Кассета где-то в тумбочке. Поищи пока.
The tape is somewhere in the nightstand. Look for it. Olya disappeared into the doorway, and I dragged my feet into the neighboring room. The tube warmed up and familiar white noise started dancing on the black screen. I almost reached out to turn on the VCR when the noise calmed down and a blurry image appeared for a moment. It was a dark taiga forest just like the one outside my window. The picture split the screen in half. Something creepy resembling human speech was coming out of the speaker. Just a few moments later, the scenery was over again, overshadowed by the noise. Did it catch some rogue channel? Local TV station only really showed Soviet cartoons, and even that was pretty rare. And only just recently I used to watch Robotech before school. It was so awesome. Maybe I should tinker with the antenna. What if I catch this channel again? On the other hand, Olya had asked me to find the tape. It wouldn't be nice to disappoint her. But in my sleepy state, I didn't have the strength to do all of it. I sifted through the shelves full of dolls and blue hippos from Kinder Surprise. I found the tape I needed thanks to its shabby spine. I got the black rectangle from its box. The tape inside it rustled while rewinding to the beginning. The rustle was lulling me to sleep. Drowsiness attacked me while I was squatting before the TV. Images whirled in my head, me and Olya flying above the forest, tumbling in the soft clouds. My little sister is laughing, but her smile becomes more and more forced with every passing second. I notice that the clouds underneath us part, barring the bristly pine tops. Swampy darkness slurped among the trees, the wings no longer able to hold us and Olya.
Ты не смотришь без меня?
You haven't started without me, have you? My sister brought the tray with unevenly cut bread and a whole can of condensed milk. I rubbed my eyes.
Нет, садись.
No, come sit.
Мама с папой опять ругаются.
Mom and Dad are arguing again.
У них сейчас период такой.
They're just going through rough times.
Глупый какой-то период.
Rough times are lame. On the screen, Wendy was hiding Peter Pan's shadow into the dresser. Olya was entertained by the cartoonish dog Nana.
Может, и нам родители собачку купят?
Maybe Mom and Dad will buy us a dog too.
Ага, как же.
Yeah, right. I just saw Tinkerbell on screen. Oh my god.
В Небыляндии у меня будет своя собственная собака. И кошка. И попугайчик.
I'll have my own dog in Neverland, and a cat, and a parrot. Olya smeared a slice of bread with a thick layer of condensed milk and handed it to me.
А у тебя все молочные зубы выпали?
Have you lost all of your baby teeth?
Конечно.
Obviously. Olya frowned deep in thought.
У Питера Пэна зубы молочные.
Peter Pan has baby teeth.
Вдруг со взрослыми зубами тебя не пустят в его страну?
What if they won't let you go to his land with adult teeth?
Мы что-нибудь обязательно придумаем.
We'll think of something.
Попросим папу исправить тебе возраст в паспорте.
We'll ask Dad to alter your age in the passport.
С чего это папа будет документы подделывать?
And why would Dad forge documents? Olya took a bite from the sandwich and started talking with her mouth full.
Будет. Мама говорила, что он так делал. А я подслушала.
He will. He would, Mom. He did that before.
Смотри, уши вырастут, как у Дамбо.
You'll grow ears as big as Dumbo's. Olya got worried and touched her ear. I smiled to myself. My little sister was silent now. She just devoured bread, watching the adventures of Peter Pan, Tinkerbell, and James Hook. As if she got sucked into the fairy tale Neverland. To be honest, I also imagined myself there, in a land where one never ages, where one never argues over little things, where no one listens to fights and the sounds of broken plates at night. It felt like I was dreaming with my eyes still open. Then my sister's scream pulled me back to reality.
Тоша, скорее, штору задерни!
Tosha, shut the curtains fast.
Зачем?
Why?
Никто же на тебя не смотрит.
No one's watching you.
Уже темно, а когда темнеет, прилетает сова.
It's dark, and when it's dark, the owl comes.
Я боюсь.
I'm scared. I got out of bed, fighting my drowsiness, and closed the curtains. I'm gonna get jump scared, aren't I? No, actually not. I did my best not to look outside towards the treetops, toward the taiga forests, which seemingly drew closer and closer. Of course, it was just a visual effect from the shadows of branches scraping the snow.
Тоша, мама думает, что я напридумывала про сову.
Tosha, Mom thinks I made up the owl.
И папа
And Dad,
считает, что раз
too.
я маленькая, это значит врушка.
He thinks I'm a liar since I'm small.
А сова есть.
But the owl exists.
Вот честная-пречестная, есть она.
Honestly, it does.
Ты же мне веришь,
You do believe me, right?
что она там и каждую ночь прилетает и...
That it comes every night, and... I swiftly grabbed Olya's hands and looked her in the eyes. I was trying to transfer at least some of my courage and determination. But did I really have those qualities?
Я тебе верю, слышишь?
Yes, I believe you, alright?
Ты только родителям больше не рассказывай про сову.
Just don't nag our parents about it anymore.
У них и так хлопот по горло, они только рассердятся.
They're already dealing with a lot, so they'll just get mad at you.
Ты мне говори, если что случится.
Come and tell me if anything happens.
И в окно не смотри.
And don't look out the window.
Но она хочет, чтобы я смотрела.
But it wants me to look.
Перехочет.
Doesn't matter.
Притворись, что ее нет и не было никогда, что она выдумка, как родители говорят.
Act like it doesn't exist and never existed. Like it's made up, just like mom and dad say.
Ей ждать надоест, она улетит.
It'll get tired of waiting and fly away. We followed Peter Pan's adventures as if nothing had happened, as if the forest didn't kidnap kids, as if our parents weren't tearing each other apart bit by bit. Captain Hook was running away from a crocodile, and Captain Pan was headed to London on a gilded sailboat. By some miracle, I lasted longer than my little sister. Olia's eyelids had dropped. She started snorting lightly, resting her chin on the side of the bed. I stood up and left Olia's room. I was looking out the window, studying the field, when Mom peeked into my room.
Довольно баловства.
Enough playing around.
Завтра первый день в школе.
It's your first day at school tomorrow.
Ложись, тебе надо выспаться.
Go to bed. You should sleep properly.
Не хочешь же ты, чтобы тебя все дразнили Соней?
You don't want to be teased for being sleepy, right? Adults think everything is so simple. As if sound sleep would ensure my classmates would like me. I covered myself with a blanket up to my neck and listened to the house humming, to something invisible rustling in the corners. My inner voice had a question for me. Do I want to hear that mysterious flute again? Yes or no? Maybe it's just a part of growing up and I can't fully understand my own desires. The forest wailed behind the barrier that was my walls. Some ethereal entity wandered the fields. Branches shook as if calling for me. The wind howled on and on in the night. My thoughts were like annoying flies that entered my head before coming weak and tangled. I didn't notice how I fell into slumber. It has come after all. The day I feared the most, the first day of a new school term. And that's the end of episode 1. So, what do you guys think about moving the office into my bedroom and making this a spare bedroom? Leave it in the comments on YouTube, and like and follow on Twitch, and have a safe, fun day. I'll see you in the next one. Bye.